Hi, this is CptDisaster. Welcome to our editions of Kaijudo Kingdoms, Peasants and Paupers. This is going to be a mono black dual color edition of Peasants and Paupers, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with a common card, Gigablover. Fantastical card, 1 for 3,000. When he attacks, he will kill himself, but he is a common. So generally everybody has lots, or you can find them pretty easy. Running 3 of those. The next, Spectre Claw. Shield trigger. Your opponent has to discard a card every time you play this. It's not so bad. Good for hand control. Playing 3 of those as well. Another Chimera, Gigazanda, 2 for 2. Very vanilla, but again, it is a common. Very good to use. We're going to go into Fumes, some more hand control. There, just to keep things going on. 4 for 2,000. He is a Tarborg, but you do get to knock out an opponent's hand right away. So, in the first couple turns of the game, you can do a lot of damage. Now, our first uncommon in the piece here is Gigastand. It's a 3 for 2,000 Chimera. Whenever you attack, your opponent discards a card. Teaming those up with the turn 2, 3, 4. You can discard a card in your opponent's hand on turn 2, and then 2 cards on turn 3 and on turn 4. You discard 2 more cards. It can be pretty hurtful for your opponent to have to discard 3 cards if they don't have any draw power. Very hurtful indeed. So to continue right along, that's 3 of those. Now our big star player in this is another uncommon, Scavenging Chimera. When all you have is black mana, he goes to 3,000 power, and whenever this creature attacks, you can get a creature from your graveyard and put it into your hand. Therefore, you're getting more cards again. It's card draw, but not from your deck, from your graveyard. And with cards that kill themselves or blockers, you're going to be getting a few. So we'll run 3 of those guys. You need a bit of blocking power. So 3 Dream Pirates, which are 3 for 3,000. They can block and they can attack. When they attack, they kill themselves. Again, you can bring them back. To be able to make our Medusas or our Chimeras do something, running some more uncommons here. 3 Hydra Medusas. When you evolve onto a Chimera, select any one of your opponent's creatures and kill it. Works quite well. Going into some more uncommons. 3 Death Smoke, just to make sure if a big baddie does pop up, you can wipe it out. Back up onto the common sides. Ramus the Cloaked for the first blue-black. Whenever this creature blocks, your opponent discards a card. 5 for 5,000. It's not bad in that respect. It's a blocker and your opponent discards. So even if he dies, if your opponent has cards, he still has to discard one. We're going to go for another Chimera for 3,000. Can't be blocked, and it's a Slayer. It is an uncommon, but it's pretty great. So we're going to run 3 of those guys. Now, every deck needs, unfortunately, a little bit of power. And in this deck, you could also do things like run some Mesmerize to discard right out of your opponent's hand to do more power. You only have 1 shield trigger at the minute. I was not running the old critical blades. I am not running Bone Blades in this, but you could easily put it in, as Bone Blades is a common. So it goes along with our Peasants and Paupers deck. Very cheap deck to make. It destroys a level 4 or less. I had a couple other ideas. I haven't decided. It would actually make a very good fit into this deck. The other commons would be Grudge Weaver, another blocker. It dies, discards a card out of your opponent's hand. Again, Scavenging Chimera can get it back. It's super cheap, so you can play multiple cards in a turn or use it as mana. There's also Ghost Spy, which is an uncommon. Your opponent discards a card, you draw a card, still very fantastic. If you decided to go red instead of black, Oozing Lavasaur, when he dies, your opponent discards a card. Or you could go this route. You could go this route even in this deck. Or if you decided to go with a different evolution, Fanged Horror, 2 for 5,000. Just like Gigablover, whenever he attacks, he kills himself, but he's a 2 for 5,000. Hey, it gets over top of the 4,000 cap of Infernus the Awakened for 2 points. That's not bad. But the route that I went, I have a few rares in here. I could probably go without them, but I was trying to go with a revival sort of theme here to keep my opponent's hand low and mine big. I went with Featherskin Stalker, another blue-black. It's a Slayer. It makes you draw a card. Actually, looking at this deck, you know what? Those Bone Blades would actually be a really fine addition into here. And I went with 3 of those. Now, I did go for some starter deck cards in this. Needed a bit of power and a bit of everything. So after your opponent plays a card, Little Razor Kinder, he is a 5-star, but he's also a starter deck card. So he kind of qualifies under the Peasants and Paupers, even though he's a 5-star. And I ran 2 of those. And another starter deck card, Dark Scare Adorable. If you like Dark, you've probably gotten him. Or, you know, he was also in the Battle Box set, very cheap, going right along with our Peasants and Paupers theme. He is a 5-star, but he's in the Battle Box. $13 gets you 1 of him and a couple packs of cards, 4 packs of cards. It's not bad. So I ran 1 of him just for a bit of power. I did have Return from Beyonds in this, but now that I'm thinking about it, the Bone Blades would be even better with what's actually here to bring stuff back. So with this set, if I had ran 4 Bone Blades, we'll just say 3 more cards here. They're in set. I'm going to change these up into Bone Blades actually, and they are the common card. This is a 42 card deck. There are 3 rares, 3 starter cards, 6 sets of 3 of uncommons, and 6 sets of 3. With the Bone Blades, there will be 6 sets of 3 of commons. We could make it a more common deck, but this is pretty good for the amount of power. This should be able to be a winning deck even at a KMC with this power level. Speed and kill and card discard, you should be able to do it. Because a couple little cards kills an Andromeda. On to our next segment. This is CptDisaster. Hi, CptDisaster again here. I love to showcase one color at a time, and we're going to be doing this each set. I've got a little bit of catching up to do since this is just the beginning of Peasants and Paupers. After that black deck was shown, I like to show Marrow Ooze. It is a common. It's a 1-for-1. It can attack. It can block. It kills itself when it blocks, but in the revival theme, very cheap, and it does its job. Skeeter Swarmer, a 2 for 4,000 card. Another excellent card. Stops a lot of opponent stuff at the 4,000 power mark, and it's only 2 cost. It does die after blocking, but it does its job for a common. Not used by a lot of people. Skull Cutter. Another common. Fantastical Slayer, unfortunately. The new blue-black, being unblockable and a Slayer, trumps this a little bit. But if you don't have room for dual colors, or if you want 2 kinds of 3-cost Slayers, both of those will do the job rather well for commons. Excellently well, actually. There are so many good black commons and uncommons. It's amazing that people don't use more of them. One of my personal favorites is Rupture Spider, being 4 for 6. The fact that this stops Gilliflames and It even stops all the 6,000 stuff like Lyra and all the 6,000 point dragons and heralds for 4 points, and it's an uncommon. When I drop this on the field, turn 4 after they've played a Gilliflame, the Gilliflame sits there and gives me a chance to discard it out of their hand because they can't go over top of this. An overlooked uncommon. It's great uncommon. It's really good. Should be used more often. If you can't afford a Death Smoke, they've come up with some cheaper versions of some of the cards out there. Devouring Smog, it's an uncommon. Your opponent gets to choose an untapped creature and destroy it, banish it. But a good lot of time they're attacking with 2 creatures. Or they've played out a new creature and it acts just like a Death Smoke at that point. You can kill off their stuff. So you can, and it's a shield trigger. It's an uncommon, so it's still good. The amount of incredible power they've given us in Clash for commons and uncommons is amazing in Black, and I don't think people even realize it yet. The 1 for 2,000 common zombie blocker here. He's a 1 for 2. He's, he can't attack like Yellow's blockers can, but still, a 1 for 2 common. He's awesome. Already talked about the Fanged Horror. 2 for 5,000. Common. Incredible. Toxic Fog. It affects all creatures. Early in the game, there may be some 1,000s or 2,000s out there. Versus a mono red rush, you Toxic Fog all his guys, and you attack with yours. Your guys will probably live, and all his will probably die. It's great for a common. Even Black Draw Power. Cave Gulper. When this card is banished, you draw a card, and it's a Rotworm, so it can be evolved. So if it hasn't been killed to draw you a card, you can evolve it. Mesmerize is an uncommon. They nuked Razorkinder Puppet. 3 points, uncommon, versus a 4-star. Awesome. Racnor, the Cobweb Cavern of the Cobweb Cavern. 4 for 2,000. Whenever you attack, takes 1,000 power off a target enemy creature. Keeps those nasty little birdies out. Can reduce them and kill them too. Common. And our last uncommon, Soul Schism. It's like the red flip side of Bone Blades. Instead of killing a level 4 or less, it reduces something by 4,000 power. Kills a lot of level 5s that are 4,000 power and less. It reduces a lot of the big cards to a manageable level where you can attack them and kill them. It's an uncommon. It's great. And it's being really overlooked. It's fantastic. Whoops. So that's the power of the new Clash set in Black for commons and uncommons. It's fantastic. Anyways, that's all of Black really for now that I quite enjoy. CptDisaster out.